Morning, Deed Grabbers. It's Tuesday. Another episode of Goat Talk. Today we're talking about title companies and some important questions when you interview those guys, because believe me, they're not all the same. But we're going to be talking about title companies. See you back in 45 seconds. Morning, guys. Welcome to Goat Talk. Gosh, what is the date today? It is September the 5th. Today we're talking about title companies. If you guys will let us know who's on here with us, where you're at. We'd love to say good morning to you. We know John's on here. Good to see you, John, today. And also, as you know, we give away a cup, a couple of pens, and a notebook now, and all you have to do is share our feed. I think Jodi's put a link in here in the comments to do that already, and so you can grab that and share that. She'll be on here in just a minute. Hey, Sammy, good to see you out in Lubbock, Texas. Good to see you guys today. We're talking about title companies today. And some of the I guess, misconceptions out there about title companies and how you work with those guys in creative finance and what we do. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to share, let me go ahead and give you guys this where y'all can head over there and get it. Gosh, it's on here somewhere. Where is it? We've got an actual ebook for you today that you can download that's got a whole list of questions to ask the title company. And you can go to sub2deals.com/ITC and get that. And we're not going to have time to cover all of them today that you should ask them, but that should help you out when you're talking to title companies. You know, we've been in Northwest Arkansas now for, 10, 11 months. So we're coming up on a year. And of course, as with any new market, we had to go out and try to find a title company to work with, because there are some transactions that we do that require a title company. Not all of them. And most sub-twos that we do these days, we don't even use a title company. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why we prefer not to use a title company with sub-twos. Morning, Amanda. Good to see you from Salt Lake City. Jeff Whitaker, good to see you in Houston, Texas. Look at Randy. Randy's still kicking down there in Little Rock. So good to see you this morning, Randy. Randy, I think you're in the Max group. If you got the link, jump in here this morning. You can help us talk about title companies. I know you've got several that you work with. So jump on here. Hey, Charlie. Good to see you, man. I hadn't talked to you in a bit. So, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. I appreciate you guys saying good morning. And remember, #shared will get you in the drawing for the giveaway this morning. So let's talk a little bit first about why we don't like to use title companies. There are several reasons here, and we hear this as a problem with a lot of new investors that are trying to get started. You see these questions posted in all of the groups. Title companies a lot of times will tell you they can't close a sub-2 period. A lot of them don't even know what a sub-2 is when you start talking to them about that sort of thing. They don't know what it is. And if they do, they'll tell you, well, we can close those on conventional financing, but we can't do it on VA or FHA loans. Now, apparently, some of these guys think that it'll impact their ability to do these loans for lenders in the future if they get caught doing that sort of thing. So they don't really want to do it. Hey, Frank, good to see you. Dana, good to see you this morning.
Jump me in now.
Yeah, jumping in. Here's Jodi. She's here with us this morning too.
I had a little coffee emergency.
Right, she was running low on coffee. She had to go get that taken care of.
You know, I can't make it through the whole hour without my coffee.
That's right. So that's one reason we don't like to use title companies. Another reason, and if you can believe this or not, when we were looking for one here, and we called several, and one of the title companies, Jodi, I know you remember this, when we called them, and we use title companies for a lot of things, not just closing sub-twos, but we've done several wholesale deals since we've been here. I don't know if wholesale is the right term. Most people think in terms of wholesale deals as a $10 or $15 or $20,000 deal. We've done some pretty good ones here. But we actually talked to one title company that told us, well, we'll do a double close for you if that's what you want to do, but you can't make more than 50% increase in what you paid for the house. So, for example, if you got a house under contract for $50,000, you could not sell that with a double close for more than 75. They just wouldn't allow it. And of course, I ask a lot of questions. I ask them, well, why is that? Well, that's just the way we do things here.
What if you'd have bought a house for a real junker for like $5,000?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
sell it for more than $7,500.
Yeah.
Their underwriters wouldn't go for it, is what she said. And my question to this particular lady was, I said, well, I gave her a couple of examples. I said, well, we've bought a couple of houses that we've sold for significantly more than that. Your underwriters, you're saying that your underwriters, and she gave me the usual list of suspects, First American, and I can't remember some of the other ones. But we went back to the title company we were using and looked through to see who had insured those. And sure enough, it was all the same people. So it wasn't a matter of their underwriters. It was just
the underwriters were the scapegoat.
Right. Their policy. It's easy to blame stuff on someone that you can never speak to, for sure. Hey, Allie, good to see you on here this morning. So title companies that allow you to only make a certain amount of profit. And I'll give you an example. One of the deals that we did here, and Charlie knows about this one if he's still on here. We got a house under contract for $40,000 and we sold it. We did a double close and we sold it the same day. We got it under contract for 40 and we sold it for 150. So $110,000 profit before cost. We would have only been able to sell that house for $60,000 had we gone with this other title company. So which is why we didn't. Which is why we didn't. We haven't used that. We actually wound up using a title company that's not even in our area, but they have offices here that'll do closings. So.
Well, and how we found him.
And how we found him was actually another deal that got really complicated. We'll talk about that one day. It would take the whole Goat Talk episode to talk about that deal. But it was actually a house that was in foreclosure and had some probate issues and some other things. And he was actually handling the closing for that probate attorney. So that's how we found him.
Yeah, Charlie said the house had multiple bids. That's true. I forgot.
Yeah, it did. It did. And we probably could have gotten more for that. Charlie, we found out this guy sold that house last month. Yeah. He fixed it up and flipped it.
It's super cute.
It is super cute. And he sold it for how much?
$250.
He sold it for $250. So it's interesting.
So even if he spent maybe 40 or 50?
Yeah.
So he made close to 50.
Yeah, he probably made 40 or so.
It's not as good as 99.
Yeah, it's not as good. Yeah, it's not as good as 100. That's for sure. But anyway, we do things a little bit backwards around here. And another reason that we prefer not to use title companies with sub-twos is, and this differs. And Randy, if you're still on here, I know you can attest to this. But some title companies on a sub-two will require you to pay transfer tax anyway, and some won't. And of course, some of that will depend on whether you use a trust or not. because a trust sometimes in the view of the county doesn't require transfer tax to be paid. Some title companies think flipping's illegal. That's a big problem up here. A lot of realtors promote that idea that flipping
wholesaling is
right
illegal and shady.
Yeah. If
And they're
you
trying to like that one agent we dealt with, and Charlie knows that too. She goes and sits in on the board meetings and things like that, to monitor the legislation on it and stuff.
right, for sure. Okay. Morning, Phil Smith. Good to see you today. And Vincent, good to see you. Hey. All right. So what should we be asking? Now, if you're new, getting started, you're looking for a new title company, there are several questions. You guys don't forget, I think we've got the link in here. I'm going to share that again so you can go over and take a look at that. Questions to ask title companies, sub2deals.com/ITC. You can download that. It's absolutely free, and it'll cover a bunch of questions you need to ask. So we're going to talk about some of the questions.
ITC stand for?
Interview title companies, I think.
I didn't even know.
Sadiq set that up, so we have to ask him what that means, really. But I think it's interviewing title companies. So, and the guy that we use right now, I had about a 15-minute phone conversation with him and covered a lot of these things. But number one, do you work with investors? A lot of times you can tell right away if you say, do you work with investors? And they go, well, what do you do? Then you probably know that you're going to have some trouble there. They don't want to work with investors. They don't want to work with certain people. If you're flipping, they're probably not going to want to work with you. So you always want to be looking for that because listen, you're paying these people. They work for you. They're your employee. They should do what you want.
Their answer should be absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We love to work with investors.
Right. We do a lot of stuff. We don't do anything that's illegal, but we will do anything that we can do within the confines of the law. In real estate, we're willing to do that. Some of them aren't. It's going to be a lot easier for you if the title company that you're talking to already works with investors. They're going to know a lot of the terminology and the phrases. You won't have to educate them. Gosh, we worked with one title company when we got here that we thought they were going to be the one. They turned out not to be. They seemed very open to doing things that they weren't familiar with, but in the end, it turned out to be a lot of trouble and very costly. Actually, I figure one of the foreclosures that we did working with this particular title company, the way they closed our purchase on the sub-2 side probably cost us $30,000 on the sales side. It was an expensive transaction. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, Charlie said she was a busybody. That's for sure.
And that title company too was, they just weren't fast. They weren't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just that they were causing trouble and they were dragging their feet on some things, but they were kind of slow.
Right.
We need somebody who's going to just get things done.
If you're doing,
wait, I have to put this up here.
Oh yeah. That's right. She is. She is beautiful.
Allie. Allie's the prettiest girl in town, actually. But
no. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I mean, she looks great and everything.
In her town.
But yeah, in her town. Yeah, she's the best looking woman in her town in Virginia for sure. Mm-hmm. So of course you want to make sure that they work with investors already. I've always told most people, whenever possible, I prefer to work with an attorney instead of a title company because attorneys know the law. Title companies know what they're told to do. Most of them are hourly employees. But attorneys seem to be a little bit, and the first title company we worked with here was owned and run by an attorney, and he was there most of the time. So we thought it was going to work out. But like I said, ultimately it didn't. Now we are working.
But he was, attorney or not, there are people who there's some people who just say no when they don't understand something.
Right.
He seemed like he'd listened to it a little bit, but he was not very adventurous. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to really, really stay on the safe side. He wanted to hear about it, but he didn't want to take any kind of risk. And it's not even risky, but it just was risky to him because he didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. Of course, if you're doing creative finance stuff like we do, you want to ask them if they're familiar with subject to, and if they're able to do closings for those transactions when the seller's financing is left in place. It's funny, these guys work with HUDs and ALTAs all day long, but so many of them aren't familiar with a subject to transaction. And, you can ask to see a form and point out to them, line 203 and 503, but they don't really understand what you're talking about.
I don't even know if they know what subject to really means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, there's a few things on the HUD that I don't know what they mean.
Right.
Not that, but other things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or lots of legal forms, so, I don't know every little thing about them. So
right.
So I mean, that's not unusual.
Right. So you want to ask these guys if they know what those things are, and some of them will tell you right away, oh, absolutely, yes, we know what they are. And that's always helpful. But I'll tell you, even people that will do a sub-2 transaction, sometimes they, again, going back to the first point we made, they won't close a VA or an FHA loan. So you're going to have a certain percentage of your loans that are going to be VA or FHA. So that's going to present a problem for you when you do that. And we'll get into this a little bit more later, but I think it's super important for every investor to know how to self-close a loan. Self-close a sale on a sub-2 transaction. You should know how to do that. It's really not that complicated. There are some important steps, but we'll go over that a little bit later. Hey, Facebook user, not sure where you're from in Fort Smith. Maybe that's
probably
Steve or Chip. Good to see you guys here. Let's see, Frank, glad you noticed me, Charlie. Yeah.
They're having a little side combo.
Oh, is that what's going on there? Okay.
They know each other.
All right.
I don't know exactly who Frank is. Maybe we do.
I don't know. Do we know who Frank is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to set up this share. You guys don't forget to share. Hashtag shared for the drawing at the end here. I'll tell you, I think I need 3 monitors. I can't keep up with all this stuff over here. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Start talking, Jodi. Help me out.
I'm drinking.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was Steve Riley.
So another question that you need to ask your title company is, do you guys do double closings? Can you do back-to-back closings? I can tell you that most of them today are not going to let you use your buyer's funds to close. That's just not going to happen. And I'm sure
like the good old days.
Yeah. And I'm sure somebody here will say, well, mine does. And if they do, man, that is really a unicorn. Congratulations. But most of them just aren't.
Or possibly, like, even the ones that say no, they may do that if they know you really well and know, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's out of the gate, if you're new there, they're probably going to say no. Right. But probably. I think if you have a good relationship with them, they may go, yeah, we know you have, you're legit, you're good for it. So we could do that. Potentially. Yep.
I've got a real problem over here with my monitor and everything that's going on. Okay, I think I've got it cleared up now. Okay, so you want to find out if they'll let you do double closings, because that's probably, if you're flipping stuff, that's probably going to be important to you. If you guys have any questions, give us those. Would you show that website again for the title company and questions? Can you show everybody that? We've got a banner. We've got a banner in there for that.
Oh, there it is.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I am having some problems over here.
Interviewing a title company, ITC.
Yep. That's it. I'll tell you guys, if you want to learn more about doing a self-close, you want to show, well, why don't you just show everybody what the giveaway is so they can get over here and and do this, maybe that'll let me.
Well, the giveaway is.
Yeah, you got. There we go. Okay,
Wait.
so that's what we'll be sending you. Oh, okay, she wants me to do this stuff. Okay, so anyway, hashtag shared, SHARED, and that'll enter you in the drawing that we'll have at the end here.
Where you get cups and mugs and notebooks.
That's right.
And then, did you want me to share the
Yeah,
courses
you
we're
can
talking
share.
about? Or do you want to just talk for a minute first and I'll pop it up?
Yeah, okay. Well, I've got to find my notes here first. I can't find them for some reason. So anyway, I'm telling you, I'm having trouble.
Well, these two courses that we have, well, I mean, we have several, but these two are kind of related to what we're talking about today.
Yeah, they are. And you can actually learn how to do a self-closing and get all the contracts that you need along with step-by-step video to walk you through them. Doing a self-close, I've probably self-closed 95% of the sub-twos that I've done. And knock on wood, okay, but I've never had a problem in the end getting my new buyer through or anything else. Doing the most important document that you're going to have to take care of is going to be, of course, the deed, and you want to make sure that that's done properly. But the other ones are disclosures, basically, that let the seller know exactly what's going to be happening. And that sort of thing. But you guys can go check those out there if you'd like to.
Where you can find these, but here's
the right. The
courses we're talking about.
The two that you're going to want to look at are the contract to close and the kitchen table closings. They're both very affordable, and they're step-by-step instruction on how to do that stuff. Okay.
Did you already say the overview of them?
The contract to close includes every form that we use in our business, along with video instruction, line by line, how to fill those things out. The kitchen table closing is a video course on how to do kitchen table closings, self closings, notary closings, whatever you want to call it. Why it's important to know how to do it, how to do it, the things to watch out for, and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
And this link right here is where you can find them if you're looking for them.
Yeah. Okay. So back to some of the questions that you want to ask a title company. If you're like us and you go after pre-foreclosures, you're going to have people that call you last minute. It happens. We had a lady call us 2 weeks ago, the day before the auction. Okay. And if you don't have the things in place to take care of that, then you're not going to be able to do anything. If you want to use a title company, and I understand that some of you guys want to use one for everything, and some people recommend it for everything. And of course you can do that. So one of the questions that you're going to want to ask is, we occasionally work with sellers on very tight timelines and have to close quickly. In these situations, how fast can you get a transaction done? You know, some people will tell you you're going to have to wait a week for a title report. That's not going to help you if you've only got 3 days till the auction. So you need somebody that can take care of things for you very quickly if needed. Now, that doesn't mean they have to do it in 2 or 3 days every time. But, you know, say, listen, if I'm in one of these special situations, can you handle that for me? Can we get those things done? Even if you have to pay more, the ability to get it done is very important. Okay. Are you okay with contract assignments? Okay, we're getting back into the flipping thing again. But, you know, sometimes you'll run into a deal that's just a good flip, even if you're a creative finance investor, if that's what you do primarily. I know that's what happened to us. We certainly weren't looking for some of the deals that we got. But, you know, when you've got something you can flip and make 6 figures, I mean, you're going to go for it. So, and you know, we've had a few situations where we did pretty well with a wholesale flip. So in some cases, you may want to do a contract assignment. I don't like doing contract assignments because you don't make as much money. If you have the ability to close before, a lot of times you can go ahead and make a lot of money. People that you're assigning a contract to, let's take, for example, the deal we talked about earlier that we got under contract for $40 and sold for $150. Could we have assigned a $40,000 contract for $100,000 fee? Probably not. The end buyer would have probably had a problem with that. People have a problem when they know how much you're making. I don't know why that is, but they just do. But they paid that on the MLS.
It's just the logic. They think you did nothing. I'm going to do all this work on this house. Why should you make more than I do?
Right.
I mean,
right.
You know, but it really doesn't matter as long as, I mean, he overpaid. We had that listed at 140 and he paid 150. So
well,
he was happy. He was happy at that price.
He probably doesn't feel like he overpaid. He did a full rehab on a house.
I just meant he paid over list price. I mean,
yeah, right. But we had,
that was wrong.
But like Charlie said, there was a lot of competitive bidding on that house.
We listed it at 140.
Right.
He bid. A few people bid it up, and he bid 150.
I think we had a dozen offers on that within 24 hours.
Right,
on that
because
one.
it was really not in that bad a shape.
Right. It was in good shape, and it was a reasonably priced house for here. But he did a rehab on it and listed it and paid realtor's fees again and probably made $40,000. But I see people here do rehabs for a $20,000 or $30,000 profit. You know, we've talked about that before. So anyway, ask them if they're okay with assignments because some may not be. So that's important. We talked about the double closings. Ask them if they have an attorney on staff because a lot of times that's important. Every title company doesn't. They should have somebody there that can answer legal questions. You're going to run into situations
all the time.
All the time. And I'm telling you, just a title company employee's general answer to something they don't know about or understand is just no, we can't do that. And that doesn't have to be the case if they know. Don't forget to ask them if they offer discounts for high volume customers. In my conversation with the title company we wound up using, I asked him, what do you charge for, let's just say that I want an owner, just a current owner and encumbrances report, which some title companies will do for you for free. Some charge a very small amount for it. The first title company we used here charged us $300 just to take from current owner down. And the guy that we're using now said, well, you know, we charge X, and I think it was about $150. He said, but if you do a lot of business with us, we won't charge you anything. So I can call and order a title from him now, and the last one I did, he didn't even send me an invoice for. So that's the benefit of being a higher volume customer, is that they should do a few things for you for free.
The title company I used before charged $5 for that. They call it a preliminary. I forgot what it stood for, but it was a POP, BOP. I can't remember what it stood for, but anyway, they charged $5 for it. Mm-hmm. Unless they got to know you, then they didn't bother.
Right.
But I think it was just to keep people from, just ordering them willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm. When we were in Colorado, the title company there would send you a list, and you could have it set up to be sent weekly of all the latest foreclosures, and that can be really handy. Now, we don't have a service like that here that I know of.
I don't think so.
But we just pull them ourselves. But that can be
another service they provide.
Yeah, another service they provide.
Yep.
So ask them what kind of lists they can provide for you. They can pull a list of pre-foreclosures, probates in different areas and find out if they do that. And they can set that up on a weekly automation if they offer it. I know that's what they did in Colorado. I know you had that list coming in down there. Ask them what other kind of services they have available if they can do for you. And again, about those discounts. Ask them how quickly they can turn those things around for you too, because you don't want to be waiting a really long time. So those are some of the questions that you can ask a title company to get the conversation going. Find out if the person you're talking to will be your contact person there. One of the things that I like about the company that we're using now is that the guy that I talked to initially is the person. I mean, I emailed him this morning with a question. We're looking at a house right now that's actually got a lien on it from the Department of Justice. Isn't that a Department of Justice lien? Liens in Arkansas are good for 10 years. but this one, I just had a feeling this one was going to be a little bit different. This guy was convicted. What was he convicted of, Jody? You looked at that last.
Some kind of terrorism. He was a collection agent, and he threatened people on the phone.
It was credit repair or something.
No, it was just
collection
a debt
agency.
collector.
Right.
He was a debt collector, and he used some pretty nasty scare tactics to get people to pay.
And so
threatened their children and things like that. I mean, he didn't do anything. I don't think. I think he just threatened people.
Right. And this was actually about 12 years ago, but they just found him in the last couple of months. Found that he had a property here and recorded a lien against. It's pretty sizable. It's $72,000
for restitution.
Right, for restitution for these people. He threatened their children, and so I had some questions. How long will this? Well, it turns out this lien will stay on for 20 years, so it's double the length of time. But anyway, we were looking at a sub-2 deal that had this. For sure. Another question. Let's see. Charlie had a thing here. You want to pop that up there? Another question to ask might be if any of the title company principals are investors. That's true. That's true. They should understand how things work then, for sure.
This was back from when he was saying why do people care what you make?
Envy causes people to miss deals. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? It causes people to miss a lot of things. But, there are always jealous people and haters and that sort of thing. If you guys got any questions about title companies or anything else while we're on here, let us have those. We'll answer a few of those today before we come back to the drawing that we've got here somewhere.
I edited that banner to show that you must be present at the drawing.
Oh, you must be present at the drawing, so don't go anywhere. I don't know how many we've got here. If you guys have any questions, let us have them. Facebook user, can they put a lien on a house for credit assist card? I don't even know what that is. Do you know what is a credit assist card? I don't know what that is.
I think that's Steve Riley again. Spell it out for us.
Yeah. Tell us what a credit assist card is, Steve. Yeah. If that's him. You guys get over there and get that free ebook I told you about. Let's see. Okay.
Look at all the side chatter over here. All these people know each other and are just visiting on our live.
Also, you guys send me a direct message. I think most of you guys, we know you on Facebook. So if you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see us talk about on Goat Talk, send those to us so we can put together some stuff. We want to give you the information that you want here. So let's see.
Audrey.
Any advice for what is working now market-wise? Do you market to people with liens? Have you done list stacking? Audrey, I'll tell you, we keep things pretty simple around here. We go after pre-foreclosures. Everybody has heard we run radio ads, and that brings in all kind of stuff. The deal we were just talking about with that lien, this was actually an MLS listed property that had been listed for a while. That's how it got on our target, because we have a list that comes in that tells us houses that have been on the market for X amount of days.
Yeah, that had been on there for like 6 months.
Right. I think.
But when you said to her, would you be willing to do something creative and maybe we just take over your payments? We got kind of direct with her. Yeah. And she was like, oh, absolutely.
Well, this was easy because the owner was actually a co-agent on it. She's a licensed agent. She's already moved out of state, but I knew that she would understand where we were going. So when I asked her, would you be open to something creative where we just take over payments? She said, you bet. Yeah. But they've moved out of state and this house has been vacant for a while. So they want to get rid of it. Just a credit card. If you've got a credit card in your name, I'm saying, this is Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, if you've got a credit card I know this probably isn't you, but if you've got a credit card in your name and they get a judgment against you, absolutely. When they record that in your name at the courthouse, if you've got property in your name, which I know you won't because you know better, If it were in your name, yes, it would attach to that property. But if it's in a trust or an LLC or something else, no, you got no worries. So another good reason to use trust.
But I think any kind of judgment goes
Right.
against the house.
Any judgment in your name will attach to everything that you own in your name, for sure. Yeah. Let's see, Vincent says, I'm in Houston and foreclosures are monthly. Would you bother with sending postcards? How would you contact seller? Absolutely, I would, Vincent. I'll tell you, when I was in Georgia, their foreclosures were very similar to Texas. It was about 20. I mean, the notices came out the first Saturday of the month, and the first Tuesday of the following month, the auction happened. So you had about 4 weeks. And my process there was pretty simple. The first Saturday of every month, I would be out before daylight, getting the newspaper, so I could go through all the foreclosure notices, and the really hot ones, the nicer houses that had equity, I would be door knocking after daylight. The rest of them, they all went in a postcard. I would print the stickers and put them on the postcards I had pre-made, put a stamp on them, and drop them in the mailbox that morning. They would be on a 4 postcard sequence. They get a postcard every week right up to the auction. So yeah, for sure. You definitely want to reach out to those people, either knock on their door or get something in the mail to them, for sure. I would do that. Brought a lot of foreclosures.
I just want to make sure you put the hashtag first, because it's the computer that picks it up. So you got to have hashtag shared.
Hashtag shared.
So
that's what you got to have. So make sure you do that. We want to get everybody entered this morning. So guys, if we don't have any questions, we're gonna take off here in a few minutes. So if y'all got something else you want to cover, let us have it. Anything to add, Jodi, to the title company? Seems like we run into a lot of stuff here. I don't know if we covered everything, but between the agents and the title companies.
I can't remember. I thought we were going to talk about something else, but I need to keep notes, I guess.
Yeah. Charlie, I don't know if you're still on here, but on that deal we were talking about, of course, the buyer used the realtor's title company, which was part of their, I can't remember the name of it, but it was over there in there. This was Cry Like, I believe, but I can't remember the name of that title company that they use. But she had put down the name of the buyer incorrectly. Remember that, Jodi? And we had to drive all the way back 30 minutes one way to sign a different deed because she had put the name of the buyer down there wrong. So yeah, she was so worried about us, but
no. That was the busybody that was going to all the committee meetings and stuff.
That's right. Going to make sure that wholesaling is illegal in the state. All right. So looks like it's about it for today. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and we're going to have this drawing.
Yeah.
And let's see.
I hope we can find our cups.
Yep. We'll find them. Okay.
We just moved, so we'll have to find them.
Yeah, we just had to move to a new Airbnb. So.
Because we still haven't found a house to live in. Yeah.
We can buy houses for everything else, but we can't find one for us. All right, so last chance, hashtag shared. 3, 2. Yeah, here we go. Who's the winner today?
This is so exciting.
All right.
That was close, just right before.
It is, just right before. There you go. So if we're friends on Facebook, you can send either Jodi or I your contact information. Tell us you were the winner today on Goat Talk and send us your name, a mailing address, and we'll get that out to you. Hope you're still on here. Say something to us. Let us know you're on here.
They just changed. I don't know if Angelus is a girl or a boy's name. I'm sorry. But anyway, they just changed. Remember I told you to make sure to get the hashtag?
Right.
They did it right in the nick of time.
Yep. Send that to us. If we're not Realty title. Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
right. They were sticklers too, man. They wanted every little thing. But anyway, send us a message on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can send it to we haven't it sent to office, or I think it's
Yes.
office at sub2deals.com.
Yep.
So send that over to us and we'll get that out to, how do you say that? I don't want to say it wrong.
What?
And
Angelus.
Angelus.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry if we said it wrong.
Okay. So let's see. How do you unshare that for me, Jody?
How do I do that?
You don't know how?
No.
Okay. I don't either. Okay. I think that's how you do it. There.
Oh, there you go.
Bam. There you go. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here today.
We're
We
really
appreciate, yeah, we're all screwed up today. You being in a new location, a bunch of stuff still in boxes. We don't know what's going on. There's Angelus. Is that it? Okay. So send us your contact information. Huh?
That's what we're going with for now.
That's right. That's what we're going with. Either send it in a direct message to Jodi or myself on Facebook, or you can send it to office at sub2deals.com, and we'll get that out to you. We appreciate you guys participating today, and I guess we'll see y'all.
Oops, I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry.
We'll see y'all next week. So y'all get out there and talk to some sellers
And buy some houses.